This week we are continuing to fill our produce stand with some really fun to make cantaloupes. So join me and see how easy these are to make. This week I thought we'd make a cantaloupe. This has been requested by a couple of different people. My cantaloupe got dropped on the way home, so it's a little on the bruised side, but it still gives us the idea. We'll see how big it is. Also, we can see if we really look at a cantaloupe, it's tan on the outside, kind of a beige color, but you see the green underneath. There's a layer of green underneath that beige that really shows in the cantaloupe, and it's got this really, really rough texture to it. So I had to work on this one a bit. So here's what I came up with. I'm using 2 colors of clay, and I'm actually using the clay straight out of the packages. I'm using classic leaf green and a soft Sahara. It's really important that this one be soft. This one you want firmer, because that's going to help us to make this texture where we can see in. And what I've done is pretty straightforward once I figured it out. I rolled my leaf green out into a snake. And I took my Sahara and I ran it through my pasta machine all the way down to the thinnest setting, and then I laid it on an index card and I ran it through the thinnest setting again. This makes it even thinner because we want this just as thin as we can get it. And then we're going to, hopefully I've got enough here that I can wrap it because my clay tore this time. And we're going to wrap around our clay. And it's okay if we have to patch it a little. It's been sitting here under my lights, so it's a little bit stuck to the cardstock this time, more than it did last time. There. So now we have that. I'll peel that off later and put it back in the package. Now we have our snake. And our snake is just leaf green, covered with a really, really thin coat of the Sahara, and you can already see the green through it, and we haven't started texturing yet. I'm going to cut this off at the end because I want to make sure that I'm covering everything, and that end isn't quite covering. So the first step I'm going to do, I'm going to pull that closed so that I have that closed. I'm going to do both ends. Let's cut this first. We've got a mess on that end. Okay. Pull this closed. So we have a nice, pretty smooth surface. And this is, how big is this? This snake is, it's about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. And we want our cantaloupes to be about a 1/2 inch long. And I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch or thereabouts, maybe a little more, maybe a little less on the end. And I'm going to close this end up. And I like to work 2 at a time like this. So now I have 2 balls. Well, I have 1, I'll have 2 in a second. Pull this closed. And now I have these 2 kind of odd looking shapes, but they don't have any texture yet. I tried so many things for texture. I've lost track of everything I tried. This is one of those scrubby pads. They're the kind they have like this mesh coating on the outside, and there's a sponge inside. You get them where you get the dishwashing stuff. They work great for texturing clay. They're also good for gluing things, but that's another video. So roll this really hard on there until it starts to break through the surface, and you start getting green. Then I have my small ball stylus, because there's always an end where it was fastened onto the stem. I'm going to cut down in there. You want a little green on that end. Then, because there's a little bit of a golden glow kind of on there, I'm just going to oops, after I throw it on the floor, so I'm not in camera, just brush a little bit of kind of a yellow, kind of a medium yellow over this and roll it again. Because we want to break through that too into the green. Get the shape you want. Then we bake them. And when I get the, I'll do another one. That's just rolled off. All right. So we roll this. And I'm pushing pretty hard. When I'm pushing down on this pad, I am pushing pretty hard. Make an end. And then just a little light. And I mean, I probably won't dust all of them with the yellow. But let's close in a little bit further. Oops. Once again, I went the wrong way. Okay, where's the camera? There it is. So let's get this out of the way. Let's do one pretty close to the camera so you guys can see better. Yeah, the texture and the look on the cantaloupe was a little tricky, but it was a fun challenge. And remember, produce is different sizes, so don't worry about making them all exactly the same size. It's best to have one on hand so you get an idea of what size they should be, but they don't have to all be perfect. So I'm just pulling that outside around. We're going to use that technique a lot of times over the different videos that I do on here. Right now, onto this pad. And pushing. You can see, if you look at the sponge, I think hopefully you can see on camera, I'm really pushing down hard. You can see that where it's going down. And usually the melon is longer than it is wide, so after you put your stem end into the top, you're going to want to squeeze it around so that that's a skinny side. Alright, looks like I'll get 2 more out of this, and then I need to bake these. And I'm baking them at about, I think, 230 degrees. I took because the soft Fimo bakes at 230, so since I'm using soft and classic, and they have different baking temperatures, I bake at the lowest temperature recommended for what I'm doing. And I'm baking these for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. They could probably go up to 30 minutes as thick as they are. What I'll do is I'll bake them, let them cool, and see if they feel like they're nice and hard. If they aren't, then I'll put them back in for a bit. Alright, so I'm going to go put these in the oven, and when I get them baked, we'll look at how they all turned out. Alright, so here's our melons that came out of the oven, and here's some I did earlier. I think I'm just going to stack them in one of these boxes. So I think they turned out really good. I'm going to show you how I go about doing this. It's just one of my boxes that we've done. And I've got one, you can see this is one of my first ones, and I didn't have enough clay there, so I'll show you what we're going to do though. It won't matter. Oh shoot, paintbrush in there. So I've got some TLS here. And what I'll do, because I don't want that green to show, Put that towards the inside of the box. Come on. And we're just dipping this in TLS and putting them in here. And then I'll bake it for another 10 or 12 minutes. There we go. Now I've got TLS out. Keep dipping and stacking. This one's a little smaller. He might fit down in there a little bit. There. I think I may even have a few extras that I can use not in this display. Let's put one more right there. And one like that. There we go. I'll go bake this off, and then I'll take some pictures of this with our scene. And I made a new produce display table that you can see in the pictures at the end of the video today too. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Remember, if you've got some requests, be sure and ask for what you want to see. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.